Hi friends, and welcome to our first chit chat video of 2026. Today we have quite the agenda. We are going to be going over some of my 2026 reading goals or bookish goals. I'm going to do a little voiceover flip through of my reading journal, and then we are going to talk about the remainder of my January TBR. Lots to unpack here, so let's just get chatting right away. I am going to be starting with my 2026 reading bookish goals. The first one is my most asked question. What is my reading goal? It is 55. I originally had it as 50, and then I kind of sat on it, and I was like, you know what? Some of my other bookish goals are readathons, and I think with readathons and nonfiction, I think 55 would be good. I read more than that in 2025, so I think 55 is a good number to like push myself, but not like have it be completely unattainable, which it was for 2025. So we are going with 55. The actual hard goal for me this year is going to be 26 of those 55 books have to be from my physical TBR. I made a list of 26 books on these shelves that I want to read, and if I don't read them, they're leaving. December 2026, they'll be gone. So I've put some stakes into it to kind of give myself some motivation to sift through my physical TBR. One thing about me for 2026, I am going in full force with intentionality, and I'm bringing that to my bookshelf. I want my bookshelf to be intentional of the books I love. I want it to be curated to my taste and what I enjoy. So I am really sifting through my books this year, and that is a big part of it. Kind of already mentioned this, but one goal of mine is to have 2 readathons. I absolutely love readathons, which maybe I'm crazy. I don't know, but me and a readathon, we're sat like this. Like, I will never say no to doing a 24-hour readathon, so I would like to do 2 of them in 2026, which I did 2 of them in 2025. So I think that's definitely reasonable. My sister-in-law, Katie, and I, we love to do them. We plan them like themed, and it's really such a good time. So I would love to be able to do at least 2 of them for 2026. Another one, this kind of circles back into the intentionality, but I would love to find just new places to read. I read primarily at home, but I would love to get outside more. I bought a hammock. I would love to like go on hikes, and then, when I'm tired and want a break, like go find some trees to read in. I think that would be so much fun. I would just really love to be more intentional with my reading time and where I'm doing it and what I'm experiencing around me and all of those things. So like reading outdoors and finding new places to read are really high on the list for me, and I just want to adventure more anyway, so that will be really fun. I'm super excited about that. And my last like bookish goal is for the first half of 2026, so from now until June, no buying new books, with the exception of if I sell books and make money, I can use that money as a book fund, if you will. But I don't want to buy any new books in the first half of the year, just so that I can kind of go again, curate my shelves and make sure that I'm reading the books that I already have. So that's going to be really hard for me. I love to buy books. It's a problem, but we are not buying books for the first half of the year. I will say I do have some pre-orders. I have Graceless Heart by Isabella Banez coming, and I have the next 2 Chloe Walsh books and the Boys of Tom in pre-order white copy. I don't know. They're coming in February, but I think those are the only 3 pre-order books I have. So other than that, I'm not buying books unless, again, I make money from books. So that one's going to be really hard for me, but I'm sticking to it. Those are all the bookish goals I really had for myself. I do want to quickly, before I talk about my TBR, just kind of like voice over, flip through my reading journal. So let's do that.
Okay, let's talk about my reading journal, shall we? This is a bullet journal I get off of Amazon. This is the 3rd year I've used this one. This first page is just me labeling what year the reading journal is, because I do have a few of these. This next page you're going to see is my reading tracker bookshelf. I do have the key representing each star rating, color coordinating, plus the stats by month. This next page is how I record what books I read in each month by color coordination. And then we have my reading log. I will track my book title, the dates, and my ratings on this page. Then we have my format log, so I can see how I'm reading my books, plus my book of the year based on the month I read it. This is the list of 26 books I was talking about earlier. And then we have my ABC reading challenge. I've done this a couple years in a row, and I always really enjoy this. Next is the monthly spread. I will put the book title here, how I read it, and then on this next page, I will go book by book, print the picture of it, and yeah, that's my reading journal.
Okay, now for my TBR. It's pretty late considering it's the second week of January already, but I figured like better late than never, right? So we're gonna talk about my January TBR. First, I already finished Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. I will give like full reviews later, but absolutely love this, of course. My current reads, I say reads because I'm reading 3 books right now, which is absolutely crazy for me, but it's fine. It's fine. First, I have a novel love story by Ashley Poston. I am a little over halfway through this, and I'm really, really enjoying this. I had not much knowledge of her, but except for the only thing I really knew about Ashley Poston is she writes magic like realism. So I was very excited to give this a try, and I'm absolutely eating it up. Next current read is actually a nonfiction, and it's Dopamine Detox. This was recommended to me by my sister-in-law, and then my in-person book club went ahead and picked it as one of our January reads, and it is just about how we're all addicted to dopamine. So I'm like 1 chapter into it. I'm barely into it, so I don't want to talk too much about it. I will put more on my wrap up later, but I'm reading this and it's very intriguing so far. It's The Reflections of an Invisible Duck. I can't remember who it's by. I'll put a picture of it right here, but it's a very strange book. I know, save the looks. However, it means a lot to me. Well, let me give some backstory. If you don't know this about me, from when I was like 13 to 21, I was heavily involved with the fire service. I went to college for fire service. I was involved with my local fire department. I volunteered. I did all the classes, the EMT school, all of that. So if you don't know that about me, we just got to know each other a little bit. But one of my former EMT instructors, they wrote this book under a fake name, so I won't say their names or anything, but it is really about the 2000s era in New England when EMS started getting integrated into the fire service, and it is based off of a true story that really happened in New England. So I am reading that, one, just to support my old EMT instructor, and then 2, there's a lot of meaning behind this in regards to some of the corruption that's in the emergency services, and all the proceeds of this book are going towards a nonprofit to help support some of that corruption. So I'm reading this as well. I'm probably like 70 pages into it. I'm not too far into it, and I'm not gonna like speed read it or anything like that. It's a very important story to me, so I'm slowly reading that. Next book on my TBR, I don't think this is a book I'm going to finish in January or maybe even February. It is a book I'm planning to read like genuinely chapter by chapter because it's so dark, and I'm a little intimidated by it, but it's Manacled. I don't really know how I feel about this. I'm a couple chapters in and I'm scared. I'm giving myself a lot of grace to DNF it if I feel like I need to DNF it, but I'm going to slowly be reading this over the next couple weeks. I'm not sure how long. I don't want to like speed read it because I just know how dark it can get, and I don't really want that to like affect my mental health. So I'm slowly reading this. Okay, so the next book on my TBR is Shadow and Bone. This is the second book for my in-person book club, and I'm actually very excited about this. I read Six of Crows last year and Crooked Kingdom, and I didn't love Crooked Kingdom. I think I DNF'd it, but I think it was mostly a headspace thing for me. So I am gonna give Crooked Kingdom another shot sometime this year, but I need to read this one first, which I think this takes place after the whole Six of Crows world, so I might be reading them a little bit out of order, but I'm pretty excited about this. I generally like Leigh Bardugo's writing, so we'll see what this is all about. Next, guys, I'm so excited to say I will be hopefully finishing the original Mistborn trilogy in January. I'd love to read the third one. I can't remember what it's called right now, but that is pretty high on my TBR. I might be reading that after I finish a novel love story. I'm very excited to finish the story. I've heard amazing things about the conclusion, and I just really love Brandon Sanderson's writing. He came as such a surprise for me in 2025 in his writing and the whole story and all of it. So I'm very excited to potentially be finishing that in January, at least starting it. We'll see. But I'll be putting the last Mistborn book on this TBR. Now, you could either call me ambitious or crazy. Either one would fit, but I'm throwing this on the TBR as well. Heat of the Everflame. This is the third book in the Kindred. This is the third book in the Kindred Curse. Why is that so hard to say? This is the third book in the Kindred. Oh, this is the third book in the Kindred's Curse. This is the third book in the Kindred's Curse saga. I literally can't say that right now. Whatever, I digress. Yeah, I don't think I'm actually realistically gonna get to this, but I really want to, so I'm putting it on the list because, like, I don't know, maybe it'll help me read faster. I don't know. But the second book ended in such a crazy way that I've been dying to get my fingers on this book and read it. So I'm putting it on the list in the hopes that I have time to, but it's like already January 12th, so like I probably won't. However, we're going to try. Okay, thank you for sitting and chatting with me for our first sit down video of 2026. I would love to know what one of your reading goals are and what your most anticipated read of January is. I hope you guys all have a blessed Tuesday, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.